The next step of your journey to bladder, pelvic floor, sexual, and bowel health. The next bundle of education, pelvic anatomy. I love anatomy. It's so important. It's probably why I became a surgeon. Research shows us that if you understand a little bit about your anatomy, you can strengthen your pelvic floor much more effectively. The other thing I love about anatomy, it's a hands-on course. So get your hands ready for some action. Stretch them out because you're going to be feeling some of the bones and other pelvic structures that are all part of the pelvic floor. Today we're covering 3 sections of pelvic anatomy. Number 1, the bones. Number 2, the muscles. And number 3, the organs. So starting with number 1, let's meet the bones of your pelvis. Think about your pelvis as a box. A box that holds and supports everything inside. The bones form the frame of that box. So let's start with some important bones of the pelvis. We're going to begin at the back of the box and move forward around the front of the box. So at the back of the box, in the center, is the sacrum. It's a flat bone. Below the sacrum is the coccyx. You can feel the coccyx, also called your tailbone. So start by placing your fingers on your lower back. You'll feel your spine. Sliding your fingers further down, you'll next feel the sacrum, which is a wide and flat bone that's a large part of your pelvis. And then continue sliding your fingers further down and you'll feel the coccyx between the cheeks of your bottom. So now that we have figured out the back center of the box, let's move to the back corners of the box. Here lie the ischial tuberosities. These are sometimes called the sit or sitting bones, and you can feel these by sliding your fingers under each of your bottom cheeks, especially while sitting. Moving to the sides of the box are the bony pelvic sidewall. This is a combination of the pelvic bones and the muscles on the inside. Then moving the fingers to the front and on corners, you'll feel what's called the iliac spine. Finally, moving to the middle of the box is the pubic symphysis, which you can feel just above your genital region. So review time. The pelvic bones that we reviewed and covered include the coccyx over to the sitting bones, up to the pelvic sidewall, to the iliac spines, and then to the center pubic symphysis. Those are the back, the sides, and the front of your box. Did you feel all those? If not, pause the video. Spend some time getting to know the pelvic bones. This will really be helpful in later videos when you're learning to squeeze the pelvic floor muscles. And we're talking about where those muscles are in relationship to some of the pelvic bones. Okay, on to number 2, the real star of the show, your pelvic muscles. These muscles form the floor of the box, and they support all the organs inside the box of the pelvis. Your pelvic muscles are stacked into 2 major layers. It's really not important to understand each of the individual muscles that are part of these layers. What is important is that we understand where these muscles lie. And to understand that, it's easy to think of the muscles as organized into 2 groups, or 2 triangles. The muscles of the front half of the box together, they're called the urogenital triangle. The muscles of the back half of the box together are called the anal triangle. Now, some muscles that you are going to squeeze are only in the front, some are only in the back. You'll feel the front muscles typically around areas such as the penis or vagina. Others in the rear triangle you'll feel around your rectum. And then there are other muscles that span the whole pelvic floor, or both diamonds. But For the purpose of learning to effectively squeeze your pelvic floor, we want to think of the muscles as two triangles. The front triangle, the back triangle, that together form a diamond. You've probably heard that core strength is also important, right? Well, your abdominal muscles are critical. One of these muscles actually co-contracts at the same time with the pelvic floor muscles to provide support and stability for your lower back, your pelvis, and your abdomen. And that's why we're introducing you to this muscle group as well. And that's why in H Fitness, we don't just train pelvic muscles, we integrate core strength to help everything function together. Now on to number 3, the pelvic organs. Now that you understand the box, we want to move on to the organs that sit in and pass through the box. So broadly, these are the organs that control urination, bowel movements, and sexual function. Urinary function starts with the bladder that sits on the muscles in the front half of the box, which are seen in green. The tube leading from the bladder out is called the urethra, and that's the tube through which you urinate. Below the urethra is the vagina or vaginal canal, which is responsible and plays a role in sexual intercourse and menstruation. Moving further back in the box, you see the organs of bowel function. Your bowel is composed of small and large intestine that then feed into the colon, the rectum, and the anus. Importantly, pelvic organs not only sit on the pelvic floor, but they also pass through the pelvic floor muscles. The urethra, vagina, and rectum pass through these muscles so that your pelvic floor muscles work as a team with these organs. Together, the pelvic floor muscles play a critical role in essential functions of urination, sexual function, and bowel function. That's why better pelvic floor muscles equal better bladder control, better bowel movements, better sexual function. And it's the same reason why pelvic floor muscle weakness or dysfunction can lead to problems like urinary symptoms, such as leakage, rushing, or sexual dysfunction, or bowel issues. Now, in women, muscles aren't the only thing holding your pelvic organs in place. Your ligaments play a major role in this as well. Ligaments are connective tissue anchors or connective tissue bands that hold your organs to bones, preventing them from shifting out of position. One important example is the uterosacral ligament. This connects, as it sounds, the uterus to the sacrum. If ligaments like this weaken, it can lead to shifting or prolapse, where the bladder, the urethra, or the rectum begin to drop. That's called, again, pelvic organ prolapse. That's why pelvic floor health isn't just about the muscles, it's about total support. So there it is, wonderful pelvic floor anatomy. It's amazing how far a little bit of anatomy education can take you. You know, I can't tell you how much I love it when I'm talking to somebody and they say, Dr. Rapp, I'm not sure I'm feeling the squeezes in the correct place. And I ask, where are you feeling the squeezes? And they say, below my pubic symphysis, as an example. It almost brings a tear to my eye when somebody is able to describe things anatomically like that. It's so much better than when somebody says, I don't know, I'm feeling them down there. So you don't have to be an anatomy expert, but a very basic understanding will go a long way. Pelvic floor box, floor of muscles in front and rear triangles that together form a diamond, pelvic floor organs that sit on and run through those muscles. There it is, the basics. But for those overachievers or competitive people in the audience, you know who you are. A quiz. So on the screen, we're going to flash up an anatomy location, one that we've just covered. And then we're going to pause for 5 seconds. During that 5 seconds, move your hand to the location on your body that we're talking about. I'm going to do the same. Then we'll unpause and see if you're correct by comparing where your hand is to where mine is. So let's give you a very easy, unrelated example to get you oriented. Let's start with ear. Did you get that one? I hope you all did. All right, here we go with the pelvic floor anatomy. Number 1, pubic symphysis. Did you get it? Good. Okay, moving on. Number 2, sitting bones. Did you get these? Bonus points if you can tell me the anatomic name for sitting bones. Ischial tuberosities. All right, the final one, pelvic floor muscles, the 2 triangles. There they are, underneath the pubic symphysis and genitalia, the 2 triangles. So there you have it, basic pelvic floor anatomy. Please keep your class going. Use those hands to feel these structures, to reinforce, to remember. When you're sitting at your desk, maybe feel your sitting bones. When you're putting on your pants, feel and practice feeling your pubic symphysis. Practice will go a long way.